Hi there, welcome to another week of business tips and tricks from Loise. Now, this week we're going to be talking about the top business books that I've actually found that were quite impactful in order for me to grow my business last year. When I really started to apply some of the principles from these books, I found that my business just took off in such a way that I now know that you have to keep upscaling your knowledge, you have to keep abreast with books and make sure that you're constantly moving forward with the times. You can't stay stagnant, you have to keep moving. And why not learn from those who have gone before you and put it down, their thoughts, their failures, their successes into a book so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. So I'm going to look at my phone because everything's on Audible. So I'm going to actually be taking the notes from my phone of the books. I listen to my books on the go. I listen to them in the car if I'm cooking, or I listen to them late at night if I'm just relaxing down into the evening. And that way, what you find, if you keep listening, you will actually absorb the information subconsciously without you even realizing it. And that way you can actually make great changes to your business and your habits and how you do things. And sometimes, there just isn't enough hours in the day. So what you find, if you could actually be doing something, maybe taking care of the children or doing some sort of task, and you could be listening to the Audible at the side as well, great way to get information and knowledge. So without further ado, I'm going to kick off with the first book, and they're in no particular order. So the first book is Tiny Change, Remarkable Results by James Clear. Now, this book is all about the power of small habits, how to build a great habit and break down the bad ones. It's about having small improvements to give you a sense of confidence over your life. And in the book, it starts off by James sharing the personal strategies that is implemented to recover from a personal injury. Now, I'm not going to give too much away because obviously, you want to read the book and I don't want to spoil it for you or put any spoiler alerts on it. But what James does, he gives you some clear strategies of how he improved the quality of his life by putting in routines to get his life in order. So it's about being consistent, how to be more productive, how to then make those changes so that you can do great things in your life. Now, the thing with this book, you can apply it to your life, and the same principles you can apply to business. It's all about making the small changes, putting strategies in, and learning how you're going to actually implement these things into your work life, your business life, your personal life. It's actually one of the bestsellers for Amazon as well. If you look at Amazon, 5 stars on there. So it's a great book. I haven't actually finished it yet, but I'm working my way through it. But it's definitely one that I'm going to include in one of my my favourites. And the next book that I'm going to bring to you, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Now, this book is an absolute classic. It's really, if you want your business to succeed and you want to live the life that you want to live, this is the book that you need to read. This book has been around a long time and it's been revisited several times, and it comes highly recommended. This is one of the first books I ever heard about. I didn't purchase it straight away, but over time it just wouldn't leave the table. You heard about this book every seminar you ever went to, every conference, every networking meeting you ever went to. This was one of the top recommended business books. Now, what I found with the book is that Gerber walks you through the steps of a life of a business. And one of the most powerful things I found out, or what I took note from, is that, okay, you set your business up. You've taken all the steps to do your business from the very start of even the concept, the idea of the business. There's so many things that you have to learn and walk through when you're starting a business. But then once you get that business up and running, eventually you should be actually moving towards working on the business. Now, that's a great distinction. That is something that I had to really think about. But when the penny dropped, it dropped. Because why are you going to be an entrepreneur and create yourself another job? What you do, obviously once you start off, you might be a sole trader, you're on your own, you're doing the job because you have to put in all the hours that you put in. But then once you move it forward, you need to then be expanding and growing your business, and therefore you shouldn't be working in the business, you should be working on the business. So this I would highly recommend as a book that needs to be in your collection. It needs to be on your shelf. This is a book that you definitely need to have if you're going to start a business. So the next book I'd move on to is Simple Numbers. Let me get my phone to get it correctly. Simple Numbers, Straight Talking, Big Profits by Greg Crabtree. Now, Greg is a successful accountant and business person, and it's about keeping a tight leash on your finances. And it's a sure way to break your business if you don't keep a close eye on your finances. And what he does, he takes you through, it's more or less like a book of financial literacy. And also what you find is a no nonsense, no jargon, pretty straightforward, pretty concise book that gives you all the details you will need in terms of keeping your business and your profits. If you don't keep an eye on your profits, you can break your business very easily. You can send it down the road of no return. So this is a real good book to have in your collection. But I would say definitely check out this book. And as I say, it's Simple Numbers, Straight Talking, Big Profits by Greg Crabtree. Now, the next book in my arsenal is, now this book, I wasn't sure about this book at first when it was recommended to me, but it was recommended early last year, and I finally got hold of it and read it for myself, and yeah, it's definitely worth a read. It's called Never Split the Difference, and it's by Chris Voss, who is a former FBI hostage negotiator. And it's all about the art of negotiation. Now, the thing is, you might think, okay, well, what's that got to do with business? But it's really about taking the techniques of how to negotiate your way through a situation. Now, if you can imagine somebody who's been held hostage, and there needs to be somebody that's going to go in and actually diffuse that situation and make sure that no one comes to any harm. That talks about some strong negotiation. Now, obviously, once you're going into business, a lot of it, when you're actually trying to sell a product or make a product, the end result is for you to sell it. For you to sell that product to a third party, for you to make a profit, you've got to have strong negotiation tactics. And sometimes about influencing as well. So how to influence and negotiate. Now, these are things that every entrepreneur will need, unless you're not going to be the forefront of your business. But this is definitely a book to read, and it shows you how you can actually negotiate your way or navigate your way around a business table and actually come out with the result that you need, but also come out with a result that's both win-win on both sides, and you've gone away happy with your business decision and that the fact you've been successful. So definitely check this book out. It's definitely worth a read. I listened to it on Audible, and it wasn't a long read at all. I mean, it probably was about 4 or 5 hours, a good few hours, but definitely worth checking out, and definitely something you should probably have in your back pocket when you need to probably brush up on your negotiation skills. So definitely one for the books. And the final book, if I just look it up here, it's called The Tool for Titans by Tim Ferriss. Now, this book is thick. Now, I've actually got a copy of this book, the physical copy of this book, and it's thick. It's a good read. It's a story of people's failures, people's successes and wins, and it's about high performance people and how they actually navigated their way through their successes and their failures. And you don't have to read this book from start to finish, because it's different chapters broken down about different people, so you can just pick it out and read it at any time you want. But it is a thick book and you can jump around it and read it at your own leisure. But I would definitely welcome this book, because this again is about reading about those people who are mighty successful, but they didn't just get here overnight. They didn't get to where they were overnight. And these are the things that when you read what other people have gone through, and you know, sometimes we look at people that are well-to-do and we think, well, it's all right for you. But sometimes when you read their struggle, you don't know their story, but when you read their story, it inspires you to keep moving on in your business life. In terms of, sometimes there will be challenges, but you know, when you think and you can see somebody else that's actually persevered, they didn't give up. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to win, you've got to be in it to win it. So a lot of these people that you read about in this book, like I said, it's a book that you might put down and come back to, because it's pretty thick. I haven't completed the book yet, but what I have read is very inspirational, and anytime I need a pick-me-up, it's my go-to book that I have a read of. So guys, that's my top books that impacted my business. I hope they'll impact your business. And don't forget, sometimes some of these books, you can even get them secondhand on Amazon if that's something that you want. I personally like to get my books via Audible so that I can listen to them on the go. But you know, they don't have to be overly expensive. Fit your pocket, because it's all about being financially astute. Fit your pocket, buy what you can, get what you can, and just make sure that you arm yourself with the knowledge to go forward in your business. And drop a comment down below if there's any books that you would probably recommend that would be a good startup book for a business. I'm always interested to expand my knowledge and know what books that are out on the market, because every minute there's something great coming out. But it'd be good if we could share it as a community, and that we could know what books are out there and what books you recommend. So guys, until next week, this is Business Tips and Tricks with Lois, and it's all about reading. So guys, brush up on your reading, get Audible out or get a book out. I will see you then. Take care. Bye.